Shabbat Shalom. Hineini, I am here to make a difference, but it just kind of happened to me. I didn't think about making a difference in the world. One sermon that Rabbi Hyde gave several years ago that stuck with me is, what evidence was there in your home that you were a Jew? And when Rabbi Cohn asked me to speak tonight, I had to think back of what evidence was there in my life that led me to care about helping people and to live my life as an educator, not only in an individual classroom, but for entire schools and for special populations. And one of them was growing up on the South Side with Rabbi Hyde, because it was an amazing community, and I was surrounded by people that helped out. I had two uncles that were presidents of two different congregations. That was very important to me because the respect and the hard work that they put into that was really amazing. I went to the youth center. Today it's the JCYS, Jewish Council for Youth Services, which is here in Buffalo Grove, but back then it was Young Men's Jewish Council. And it was right across the street from our temple. And not only was it a place for kids to go every day and get help, but there were counselors, older kids helping us. It was a place where there were kids with Down syndrome, there were kids that were blind, and we were all integrated back then into helping each other, and it was just a way of daily life. My mom was somebody that was always helping. She was the helper in the family. Our aunt moved into the house. She helped her sisters when they were sick. And my dad, although he wasn't religious at all, he built things. So he was everybody's handyman. And because of that, I can't do a thing. Anyways, I met my wife Sherry at day camp, and we basically have spent our whole life helping kids in one way or another. But really, I was very lucky in landing the job that I did 3 years ago. First of all, I was coming off of a 10-month unemployment, and any job after a 10-month unemployment is wonderful. But when you get to live out everything that you've ever believed about at my age, it's pretty amazing. We are a very small school. My campus has 45 students. We have a 5-to-1 ratio. Our kids are diagnosed with learning disabilities, most of them with dyslexia or other language-based learning disorders. Many of them have ADD or ADHD, probably about 70% of them. Some of them on medication and some of them not. They also have certainly some issues with self-concept because they've been in regular schools and they're smart, but they never got to excel in the regular classroom. And what happened to many of them before they came to us is that they kind of just hid in the classroom. If they don't make noise and they don't cause a problem, they kind of just survive. The problem is that as they get older, school is much more difficult. They don't have the skills to succeed. Their self-concept goes down. Yet many of them are great athletes, great artists. They've got amazing skills. And in our school, it's a 5-to-1 ratio. I'm pretty blessed. You know, the suburban school districts and the Chicago school districts, you don't get a 5-to-1 ratio. But we are able to help kids at their level. And our school does all the things I believed in and tried to do in the public school system and didn't succeed all the time. Our kids chew gum. They eat candy because they have ADHD and they need to keep themselves busy. They sit on bouncy balls. They sit on cushions. They stand while they do work. those things are now called strategies to help you rather than behaviors to interfere in the classroom. We've got an amazing group of teachers, but in addition to that, we have our integrated staff of social workers, occupational therapists, and speech and language therapists that help our kids individually in the classroom. And they can't, and last but not least, it's a transition school. And the goal of special education was always to get kids out of special education, but many parents never want their kids to be in special ed because they think they'll never get out. But in our school, it's a transition school. Our goal is to have kids back in their home school or their community within 2 to 3 years, and 75% of them are. So it's a wonderful place to be every day. Crazy enough, I get paid for welcoming kids in the door in the morning and waving to parents, for being at recess duty, for being at lunch with them and talking, and saying goodbye to them at the end of the day. I do a few other things. But in reality, we are there for these kids. And I think that I've really done it because I have evidenced what it's like to make a difference through my temple, through my family, and through my friends. Shabbat Shalom.